Recently, we have made several in-depth swimming videos breaking down the front core stroke as well as looking at some of the others. Well, as a result of those, we've had some specific questions coming in on the bottom of our video, so I thought I'd take the chance today to answer those in more detail. Well, to start us off, the first question comes from a video of how to use a swimming pool clock, and it's been sent in by Peter Parahus, and he says, do you swim clockwise within the lane in the UK? Well, this is a topic that is open to debate, and it turns out that in the UK we actually do things a little bit differently, and I found this out the hard way when I first went to swim abroad, because back here we actually alternate which way we go in the lane. So say one lane is going in an anti-clockwise direction, the lane next to it on either side will then go in a clockwise direction. And there is some logic behind this, because basically that means that when swimmers are going next to each other either side of a lane rope, they'll both be going in the same direction, so you won't have that horrible hand clash. Say you're doing butterfly against somebody else in the other lane, or even front crawl, can really hurt if you smack hands, whereas if you're both going the same way, it shouldn't cause any problems. The problems do arise though when someone gets into an empty pool and starts swimming in the direction they want, and then the next lane doesn't notice what way they're going, and it can all get a little bit confusing. But hopefully at the end of the lane there's normally a sign saying which direction to go in. Well, from my personal experience and from chatting to the boys, we haven't experienced anywhere that does a lane format like the UK. We swam in quite a few places in Europe and in the USA, but if there is anywhere that does it in the same format that we do here, let us know in the comment section below. Well, our next question comes from the video of how to swim breaststroke, and it's been sent in by Alan, and he says, shouldn't the head always stay above the water? Well, Alan, we guess you are having a little bit of a laugh there at us, but as Mark and Fraser demonstrated, your head does need to go under the water because you're more streamlined in that position, and it's actually proven to be much faster. But obviously there's nothing wrong in going for a swim and trying to keep your hair dry, but good luck with that one. Anyway, our next question comes in from the video of how to breathe while swimming freestyle, and it's been sent in by DarkWolf263. Is exhalation done just from the nose or even the mouth? And a similar question came from Cappy Benton. This is great, but you don't mention anything about blowing the air out of your lungs through the mouth or through the nose, or doesn't it matter? Well, we had a lot of questions around how to breathe, and I mean how to get the air in and out of your lungs. And when it comes to breathing in while swimming, you have a relatively short window of time to get enough oxygen into your lungs just as your arm is recovering. So for that, you most certainly want to stick to mouth breathing. But when it comes to the exhalation, you do have a choice. If you're swimming at a very low level aerobic intensity, then you could probably manage to get all the air out through your nose. And alternatively, if you're swimming at a little bit of a higher rate, you could actually combine mouth and nose breathing. And the advantage of breathing out through your nose, you're going to prevent any water going up there. But when you start to swim a bit harder, you'll probably find you'll struggle to get enough air out quickly. Now, personally, I breathe out through my mouth. But when it comes to tumble turns, breathing out through your nose is a good idea because going upside down, some people do find that a little bit uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, it's down to personal preference and how hard you're swimming. So there is no hard and fast rule, so go and experiment when you're next swimming. And now we have a question that comes from the video on 3 drills to improve rotation, and it's been sent in by Rafi Shiranian, who asks, but doesn't rotation slow the stroke rate? He says, I mean, it's hard to be powerful in the pull when you're on your side. I feel like being almost flat in the pull is the strongest. And he says, I don't kick much, so rotation kind of makes me glide more with no kicking, so very soon I decelerate. What's your advice? Well, rotation is an important part of the stroke, and you don't need a huge amount of rotation to benefit from it. But if you're not rotating, you're going to find you're putting a lot of pressure on your shoulder joints, and you could end up with getting some impingement. And with the rotation, you are much stronger as you've got you can utilize those lat muscles which come across your back and down your side. So just by that little bit of rotation, you'll find you're much more efficient and stronger. But also, it isn't going to slow your stroke rate down, because if you think the time it takes to do a whole stroke, you should be able to move your body just a small amount. I'm not saying huge amount of rotation here, but enough to really optimize that. So as you do each stroke, you should find that your rotation will naturally start to happen, and it's not something that's ever going to slow down or speed up your stroke. Well, our next question comes from the video Swim Tips for Beginners, and it's been sent in by JS Patel, who says, hello, can you wear a wetsuit in an indoor pool that is chlorinated? Well, thanks for this question. It's quite a topical one because Fraser and I were literally a couple of days ago just having this exact discussion. And as long as the pool allows, it's something you probably need to check before you go. There is no reason that you can't swim wearing your wetsuit in the pool, but you do need to be aware if it's a chlorinated pool that if you do it all the time, it will probably start to damage your wetsuit, just like it damages swimsuits. And obviously a wetsuit is a lot more expensive to replace. But the big question comes in as to why. Do you really need to swim in your wetsuit regularly in a pool? Now, in my mind, I'd say no. Obviously, if you don't have any open water near you and you've got a new wetsuit or a race coming up, then you want to practice in it, then fair enough, go and do it every once in a while. But if you're swimming hard enough, then you'll probably find that you're going to get too hot in a wetsuit anyway. And if you use it all the time, you can become reliant on it and end up picking up bad technique. Swimming without a wetsuit, you've got to really work on your body position that much more. Although I must admit, I have to give Fraser's opinion. He says that lots of triathletes do it, and he was even asking about doing it again recently the other day. I say just because lots of triathletes do it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. That said, we were filming out in Lanzarote recently and the pool wasn't heated and I was so desperate to wear a wetsuit, but I did refrain. Anyway, our next question comes from the same video, Swim Tips from Beginners, and this one sent in from The Kid Is Alright, who says, any advice on how to remain relaxed while swimming? I can keep my muscles relaxed and breathe okay for almost 3/4 of the pool, but it seems like no matter how hard I try to stay calm, the carbon dioxide keeps building up and I'm out of breath when I reach the other side. I'm like this while doing kicking drills, paddle drills, anything. I'm desperate and feel like I will never get to swim like everybody else. Relaxation goes hand in hand with breathing, both in the pool but also in real life when you're on dry land. So if you're getting a little bit stressed, you'll probably notice that your shoulders start to rise, your breathing becomes really shallow, and as a result of that, you get a build-up of carbon dioxide. And it sounds like you've already identified this by saying that that's the feeling you've got. And the fact you managed to get 3/4 of the way down the lane completely fine is because you've obviously taken a nice deep breath and you've got plenty of oxygen. But it's that feeling of being breathless and not getting enough air in the second or the last part of the length is actually more due to the fact that you're not getting enough of the air out rather than breathing in. So you need to focus more on your out breath and really emptying your lungs so you can then refill them with plenty of oxygen. But if you do want some more detail and tips on how to breathe more easily while swimming, we've made a video on that which we'll share in the description below and we'll also share at the end of this video. Well, do keep your questions coming in both below our videos but also through our social channels, either on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll do our best to either answer them directly or we'll collate a few and we'll make another Ask GTN. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed it and found this useful. Give us a thumbs up if you have and hit the globe on screen to make sure you get all of our videos here at GTN. And if you want to know how to structure a swimming workout, we can get some ideas on that one just down here. And that video I talked about earlier of how to make swimming breathing easier, then just check that one out over here.